Welcome back to the Freshwater Yankee podcast. I'm Wendell Riley, and it is still springtime in Louisiana, so my nose is stuffy. That's why I sound like this. Um, I don't have a fancy intro for this episode. This is actually just an episode with my brother, which means it's just two nerds talking for almost an hour about many of the influences that we had, but we also talked about some of the work that we do. I do want to apologize for the sound quality of the interview. We had some technical issues just trying out some new equipment while I was in Trinidad. But in addition to that, we do talk over each other a lot and we do giggle at nonsense a lot. So, in addition to that, my brother was very sick when we did the recording. He actually had a cold, but he wanted to do the recording um, because I was only in town for a few more days, and so we had to get it done while I was there. So, with all that being said, I hope you enjoy. If not, don't blame him, blame me for the technical stuff, and blame whoever it is that got him sick. All right, cheers, enjoy. Hello, and welcome back to the Freshwater Yankee podcast. As always, I am your host, Wendell Riley. And today, as always, I have a special guest, but this is a special guest, my brother, my older brother, Christopher Riley. And we are going to talk today about our upbringing, but in terms of the types of nerdy stuff that we like and how that has influenced our lives and careers. Let me just jump in and say, you are 5 years older than I am, Chris.
Yeah, 71.
That four,
Excuse me. Yeah.
four-ish.
Yeah.
And Chris has a cold today, so I'm so sorry that he's coughing in your ears.
Sorry, guys.
But I am leaving Trinidad soon, so I wanted to get this interview in live, which I think is much better. So Chris, tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, so my name is Christopher Riley, and I do lots of stuff. Thing that I like doing the most is actually drawing comic books. So Wendell and I we produce a comic. We produce we produce a bunch of comics. But the two that we're known for is The Terror of the Midnight Robber and Mango Chiren. So Terror of the Midnight Robber basically is a comic book about Trinidadian folklore. It contains characters from Trinidadian folklore, and it, I guess, paints them in like a superhero type light. You know, the main character being the Midnight Robber. I know he's not a folklore character; he's more of a mass character, but he's a cowboy. He's got guns. Yeah, so
And he looks cool.
Yes,
And we'll dive a little bit more into these characters later on in the interview. And then, of course, we call Mango Chiren.
Yeah, Mango Chiren is right. So so that book was designed for children. Basically, just like when we were growing up, we had books like Richie Rich and
Peanuts,
Little Devil.
Yeah.
Some of the Harvey stuff I can't remember offhand right now. Well, I don't remember.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. So some of that stuff. So basically, there's like big head characters, right? So the Mango Chiren basically is about a group of little children that live in a village somewhere in Trinidad, and they just have adventures, like we used to have when we were in our little village by our grandparents during the holidays.
Yeah,
basically is what that book is about. So they're called Mango Chiren because they like mangoes. I like mangoes. Mangoes are awesome, right? So each of the children, their names are taken from, I guess, a species of mango that we have here. So we have characters like Dudus and
Julie.
Right, correct.
Long.
Yeah. Ice Cream the Tobago.
Ice Cream, yeah, he's from Tobago.
Yeah. And then we have Hog, who's one of the characters we need to spotlight a little bit more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this obviously is influenced by our upbringing, but I want to go like all the way back to our early childhood on One Track Great Road. I've talked about this a lot, about the fact that we grew up in a place like right around Green Corner, and the fact that we were surrounded by cinema because we had at least 8 or 9 movie theaters in walking distance. And, our mom used to, we were Trinidadian latchkey kids because she would work a lot and she was a single mom. So we spent a lot of time like watching TV and playing with our toys, but we would also go across the street to Globe, and we would go to the arcades because we had 2 arcades close to us as well. So
Yeah.
we were like enveloped in like the
Mhm.
awesomeness of 80s nerd culture.
Yeah. And then walking home from school, we'd be seeing the movie posters because we would be passing right by the theaters. So
Yeah.
that was like huge, man. Those posters were just awesome, man.
Yeah. And so we would see posters on the walls, but then in Trinidad, one of the things that in Globe, they would have these like 10-foot painted
Yeah, they were huge, man.
versions of the posters. Like I remember for the film Alligator, there was this like 10-foot long painting of an alligator.
Yeah, so it was probably on plywood or something. I
Yeah,
figured
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
It was probably on ply.
Yeah, so these are like one of a kind, hand painted. I know like online now there's a meme about African paintings. But we had a version of that, but ours were kind of more true to the
Yeah,
films,
I
and
think they were
less
really good, man.
interpretation.
I think they were really good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that was obviously a huge influence us. And then also, I don't know if you remember, there was the little TV screen on
Yeah.
the wall.
Yeah, man. TV
And
screen was
to
like,
just
what,
play
3
trailers.
inches? Like 2 inches.
And I just remember just standing there being
Yeah.
mesmerized by the trailers because they just played the trailers.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, I know you were more into video games than I was because
Mhm.
you were older.
Yeah.
I was never good at video games.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
always into games. So,
Yeah,
so
that
what
was
were
fun
some of the
stuff.
games that you liked playing at the arcade? Because there was
Wow.
one on Green Corner,
Yeah.
and then right down the street on Park
Park
Street.
Street. Yeah, that was the other
another
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tron, I think, was one of my favorite games, man. That was good. I like Tron because you had like a spinner to control your aim, and then you had the joystick with a
Yeah.
trigger.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was actually cool. And then there's another game called Mad Planets that had the same controls, I believe. I think the controller and the spinner. I like that one too. That was actually kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Jungle Hunt was another one that I like to play. Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man. That game was
Super.
awesome, man. Yeah.
And then they had stuff like Joust. I always liked Joust, but that was
Jealous
hard.
is hard as shit.
Yeah. I remember Cubert,
Yeah.
Big Doug,
Yeah.
Frogger, all that.
Mhm.
All those like basic
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
But then there was the sit down cabinet Star Wars game,
Yeah.
and that was like mind blowing.
That's awesome stuff.
because it
Yeah.
had clips, like audio clips.
Yes, it had the really nice
Little
audio
talking.
clips. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like those single line graphics.
Yes, so that was vector. I think those are vector games.
Right,
So
yeah.
vector graphics. Yeah.
Yeah, which was pretty revolutionary for the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Still holds up today.
Yes.
That was awesome, but yeah, it works, man.
And I remember like in like Defender, but that was a hard game.
That game is awesome, man. The sound effects in that game is incredible, man.
Yeah.
The dude who designed that, some of the best. Yeah, because I think he did Defender, and I think he also worked on Robotron too, man.
Oh
And
wow.
I like those games had good sound effects.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so awesome and electronic-y.
And so we had video games, but then also like what were some of the movies you remember seeing at Globe when
Actually, I don't remember seeing too many movies at Globe, actually. I don't know, you always bring stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, is that what we saw that?
Globe was kind of the mecca for me. Right? I
Right.
mean, you might have remembered seeing stuff at Strand,
Yeah.
Vistarama.
I remember Army of Darkness at Strand.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I remember coming out of that, I was like, what the heck did I just see? It's like, that was awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I think like my first movie memory is seeing the 1978, I believe, Superman,
Mhm.
Christopher Reeve. And I just remember seeing the colors. Like I remember seeing the colors on the big screen. Like,
Right.
there was a shot of some kid fell over, like Niagara
Yeah,
Falls or
right.
something like that. And then there was a scene where they kind of wrapped him in kryptonite. And I remember seeing the colors. I don't remember the story or anything like that, but I remember just being blown away as a kid. But
Right.
then I saw all kinds of stuff there, man, like Platoon,
Voyage of the Rock Aliens. I saw that
Voyage
of the Rock Aliens.
Alien.
Yeah, man.
I have not even heard of that.
Good. It's terrible.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I saw that glow.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds. Actually,
Yes.
coming to think about it, yeah, Revenge of the Nerds. Purple Rain was another one.
Oh,
So,
see, I couldn't get to go to see Purple Rain because
okay.
I was too young. So mom didn't let me go. I
Right.
remember you getting to go.
Right.
Boys,
You're right. We went, correct. All the other, maybe like Roadhouse and stuff too. I've just seen that globe.
But that's the thing about so just for people who don't know what cinema culture was like in Trinidad, each theater had their specialty, right? So like Globe, they showed the
Yeah, they were the A-list.
yeah, the blockbusters and stuff like that. And then in Trinidad, we would always have double features. So any theater you went to, there was a double feature. And there were 3 set times. There's a 12:30 show, a 4:30.
And then 8.
8.
But there would, so sometimes on weekends, you'd get an 11.
Right. Yeah.
So if you remember Norris and Nigel, their dad was a projectionist.
Right, yeah.
So we used to get to go to the Luke's and even Strand sometimes to the 11:30 shows, man. So I remember, so he was projectionist and he was, and the weekends that well, I think this was like 3 weekends straight, man. We went to see Return of the Living Dead. Yeah.
See, I
we
just
go,
get to see
yeah,
that.
we just go in for free.
This is probably 5 years ago.
Yeah,
It exists, like all of that stuff.
It's all right, man. You had your own stuff.
Yeah, Return of the Living is still one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. I don't think I saw that on the big screen for the first time. I remember seeing Hellraiser on the big screen.
Yeah.
Wrecked my brain. And Prince of Darkness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's so Prince of Darkness. So my mom used to take us to see movies all the time. And she, of course, had no idea what she was taking us to. She was just kind of at the mercy of our fandom.
Weirdness.
Yeah. So she tells the story all the time of there's a scene in Prince of Darkness where someone is transmitting this. He's saying, "Pray for death." And then he turns into like 1,000 bugs. He disintegrates into like cockroaches. And she was like retching into a paper bag that she had. Like she was trying not to throw up. Meanwhile, Chris and I are just sitting there smiling because this is like the most awesome
stuff, man. Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah. So in Port of Spain, we had Globe, we had Vistarama, there was National right up the street. I just remember Vistarama showing like sci-fi stuff. I don't know what their whole deal was, but
no, that wasn't easy. Took me to see Jaws.
oh, so that was the movie that ruined you.
Yes, that was.
Yeah. How old were you when you saw it?
I'd have to been like about 6. 5.
So you were the age of the little boy that got eaten.
Yeah.
In Jaws. Yeah. So I said up the street, there was National, and National showed like martial arts films, which you call kick-ups.
Yep.
And then there was Strand, which would show like kind of edgier stuff, like
kind of the B-list, almost,
and darker stuff. Like I remember watching The Crow there, which was like one of my favorite movies for a long time. Yeah. That was, I think you might.
Right, I was in Jersey at that time. Right,
and then there was Asta, which was a little further out, and they showed
more teen stuff, man.
Yeah. I think that's when I saw the Flash.
John Hughes stuff.
Yeah. They would show a lot. I would say not high class, but just like different vibe, right?
Yeah.
And then there was Deluxe.
Then you have Roxy, way out.
Roxy, which is now Pizza Hut, one of the biggest Pizza Huts in the world. I don't know if it still is, but it was at one time.
We had Superstar.
I don't think I remember going to Superstar, but I know all of these were literally like
walking distance
from where we lived. So we were surrounded by cinema. We could, on any given day, we had our pick of a double feature with trailers in the middle, which was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Right. And we spent so much of our childhood just at the movies, watching stuff, and that heavily influenced us. And that's why we do the work that we do now.
Yeah.
And one of the things I tell people when I'm in the US is that a lot of this stuff that film school students would have to go find at a Video American or some obscure video rental place, we saw on the big screen. because in Trinidad we got international cinema. Everything was international for us, right? So we got stuff from the US, stuff from Bollywood,
Yeah, UK.
UK.
Yeah.
We got Asian stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point,
Yep.
Jet Li was the biggest superstar in Trinidad. Like, there was just this run of Jet Li films, and that's all anybody wanted to talk about was Jet Li. So Trinidad, we as a culture, we have like this real wealth of film knowledge, I think, because we were just exposed to it at a very young age and we just had so much access to cinema. Now, all of those single screen movie houses have closed, unfortunately, and we have cineplexes. It's just not the same,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, and I love cineplexes, but it's just not the same as those old Regal. And they had character because people would smoke in them.
Yeah.
People would smoke weed in them. Some of them smelled bad.
Yeah.
Some of them, the AC wouldn't work. Kind of like Grindhouse, but it had that charm.
Yeah.
And they were cheap. Like, so it was like $5.
So $5 a ticket, man. Yeah.
Which is like less than back then. It would have been like 50 cents US.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, so Nija had visited. And he went to Globe with us to see Deep Rising and something else, man.
Right.
And he was just so amazed at how people reacted to the movie.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what the heck, man? This is,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because, in the States, everybody's quiet.
Right.
But
No.
reacts,
He had lively audiences. Like
so,
people talk to the screen and
yeah, people would talk to the screen.
I remember. And it would be like these weird, quirky things about cinema in Trinidad. So when we saw the original Terminator, and the spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen it yet, the original Terminator, so they blow him up in the truck, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the whole reveal. He comes out as the endoskeleton, and then it's like a whole 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
And they actually put a sign up on the screen, like in front of the projector.
It was handwritten.
Yeah, there's not a little sign that said the movie is not illness. Because I guess we were
people. Yeah, in the 80s, you just had the end. That was at the end. No. Coming back from the explosion.
Exactly. So then, and then there's like, oh wow, and then we see the skeleton, the skeleton.
Yeah.
And everybody's like freaking out. But stuff like that. And then we had a ratings board, and they would trim movies.
Yeah.
They would just cut random stuff out of films.
Well, a lot of times language and nudity.
Yeah.
I think, then it just started to get more and more lax, I guess, as time went on. But it was mainly language.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
But so The Crow, again, like I said, was one of my favorite movies. I remember seeing that in Strand. And the resurrection scene, when I saw it for the first time in Strand, it was basically this from shot to shot. It was the bird on Draven's headstone with the ring, and he's like tapping the ring. And then the very next shot is Draven out of the grave screaming in pain. So they cut out the entire scene of like the coffin lid raising and the dirt falling and all of that stuff. I don't know if they thought that was too demonic.
They may have done it for time.
Maybe.
May have done it for time.
But I remember when I went to the US and I saw it on VHS, I was like, what?
Where did that come from?
Yeah. Because, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's kind of a weird cut, but it felt like kind of edgy, It's like, oh yeah, he's back all of a sudden. But
some dude decided, nah.
He's cutting on. Oh man. No, but speaking of VHS, so we also had movie clubs. We call them movie clubs, right? So these were video stores, but they were all bootleg tapes. We never had Blockbusters in Trinidad. And instead of VHS, we had Betamax. And so we had one in Shibwanas, right? And we used to, again, when we used to spend time at our grandparents' house, our uncle Paga, he would just he would bring back like 10 tapes at a time. Yeah, good stuff like Delta Force.
Yeah, and then a lot of them weird Italian horror films, man.
Oh, wow. Lucio Fulci stuff.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I've seen Gates of Hell. That messed me up.
Mausoleum and Gates of Hell. Burial Ground is one of them. Yeah, man, all weird stuff, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
But because they had good posters.
yeah.
And that's why we bought the stuff, because the posters were awesome, man.
And the thing is, it's like if they're 10-year releases, it was so cheap you could just rent all 10.
I think it was like $2. I think it was like $2.
$2, yeah. Which again is the equivalent of like a quarter in the US. And so and then we would watch those horror movies and then have to go upstairs in the dark house and sleep on it. And we saw there was a lot of like 80s excess in those films.
Yeah. Oh boy.
There's a lot of just nudity.
Yeah, no reason for us.
Yeah, just lots of like action and stuff like Delta Force.
Yeah.
Or like, because we were into martial arts, so Chuck Norris was big. You read every Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah, man. Missing in action.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Too many missing out. And then like Lone Wolf McQuaid. I think that's the one where they buried him in his truck.
God the heck.
The truck onto
No, that one. And Delta Force, right?
Delta
1 and
Force
2.
is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we also had comics. So who's Uncle James, he introduced us to the world of comics.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff. Yeah, so lots of Savage Sword, Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, so Savage Sword was a
black and white,
large format black and white magazine.
Yeah.
And so with art by Dazzy Jean Busima.
Yeah, man, legends, man.
Yeah. And Earl Moran.
Yeah, Eddie Chan.
And they always had painted covers.
Yeah.
Which was
Joe Jusco, Noram.
Yeah. Later we had like
Larkin.
Yeah, Larkin was awesome.
Yeah. In later days, you had like Julie, you had somebody Boris
Vallejo.
Yeah.
And that was
so it's Julie Bell, right? Julie Bell, right? Who was So it looked like Vallejo.
Yeah. Which I found out. I think they were married.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So it makes sense. And then we had Heavy Metal Magazine.
Yeah, that was
that.
Yep.
We were way too young for that.
And eerie and creepy, all those things.
But yeah.
So all those were horror based mags.
So. But eerie and creepy had guys like Bernie Wrightson. That's where I fell in love.
Again, some masters, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I fell in love with Bernie Wrightson's work. I think Gene Colan used to do some of those.
Yeah. Everybody anybody would have done some piece for Warren, man. Corbin.
Yeah, Richard Corbin used to do a ton of stuff.
Because
so we read fringe comics in addition to mainstream stuff like Spidey and Captain America, G.I. Joe comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So lots of Marvel stuff, a little bit of DC thrown in, but and man, I remember just looking, and I was too young to read that stuff, but I remember looking at heavy metal, and of course, heavy metal also had nudity and stuff like that. Yeah. So way inappropriate for
I think because it was originally a German publication. So it was
really?
Metal Hurlant, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So it was just brought over to the US and rebranded heavy metal and translated.
Yeah.
Because remember Mobius and all those dudes, a lot of the artists were French.
Yeah.
Right? So again. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
That's what. Yeah.
So we had that, and then we had this like massive record collection. And we had you could just play records all day. And everything from like Beatles all the way up to like every hair metal band.
Yeah.
And then like Metallica, Guns N' Roses and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. The good stuff.
Yeah. So like it was just like a playground for us. Like we would listen to records, read comics, watch movies, and then go outside and play.
All right. Yeah.
And then come back in, like go ride bikes and then come back in and just
you go climb mango trees and pick mangoes and eat cherries, whatever was in bloom at the time, man.
Yeah.
In season.
And the other cool thing that he had art books, because he's an artist.
Yeah.
He's an artist and a martial artist. But he had Frazetta books.
Yeah.
That's where like we would study Frazetta's work. And and they would have like the painting on one page and then like close-ups on the other page of certain sections of the paintings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we would just read and study and just do
Yeah.
all that stuff. So when it was time for you to pick a college career,
Hmm.
right? So tell us what what you wanted to do. And
What are you talking about, man? You pick.
I was trying to tee you up.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work out. Yeah, so out of school, I worked in the advertising industry. So I worked at a company called Transat. So we basically designed signage for billboards and that kind of stuff for the public transport system, basically. So on the sides of buses and that kind of stuff. So all this stuff at that time was, yeah, we didn't have computers in those days. So I would actually just design the stuff, right? So to scale. And then the painters would take my drawings, my designs, and go and scale them up and paint them. I didn't have
Oh,
to paint.
like actually paint
Yeah.
on the billboard. So these
Yeah.
weren't like printed sheets that you
No,
put
in
up.
the old days, no, dude, they would go up on scaffolding and paint
Wow.
the boards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I did something awesome, they would be like, you suck. Because they didn't have to go
It'll be much
reproduce.
harder. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I did something. I think I did like maybe for an insurance company, man. I did like the Naparimo Bowl or something.
Yeah.
And the dudes are like, yeah, they just held their heads low and they're like, gosh, darn it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I had trees and a whole bunch of leaves and Naparimo Bowl and stuff. Yeah.
That sounds like a hard day
Yeah.
for those guys.
Yeah, so there's no digital printing. It's all human printing in those days.
Yeah. Wow. So and then after that, you wanted to go to school.
So
right?
then, yeah. So I don't know how long I was there, maybe about 5 years. And then I left. I went to Joe Kubert School of Cartoon Graphics and Animation. So the first year you do both comics and animation. And then second year you decide whether you're going to go animation or comics. So I went comics and I did the second year, but didn't go back in the third year because I went back into science.
So just for all this, so the Kubert School is in
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, Dover. I think it's in Dover.
That's right, Dover,
Yeah.
New Jersey. So you left Trinidad, you went to New Jersey.
Yeah. To draw. Learn
To
comics.
the cold and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Joe Kubert, like the Kubert name is like royalty in the comics world. Like if you read comics, you know the Kubert.
You have to know who he is. Yeah.
Big family tree of artists and stuff like that. So yeah, so you mean
Yeah. So while I was there, one of my teachers, Mike Sellers, I actually did an apprentice with him. He was at the time he was the inker on. I think he might have been working on like Captain America and maybe Cable, Ghost Rider. So I had worked on two projects with him, a Ghost Rider and a Cable book. So my job basically was to go in and ink all the boring stuff like bricks and spoons and
chains. Lots
of chains for Ghost Rider. Yeah, lots of chains.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. And then to clean up any, if he had done any weird inking and he's like, I don't like all that looks on here. Just go in and touch stuff, take stuff out with whiteout and that kind of thing. And that was actually very, very educational, man, working with that dude, man. Yeah, that was a good experience to work with him.
Way to learn after school to actually work on like published comics.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got no credit, of course.
Yeah.
You don't ever get credit, but yeah, it was the learning experience was awesome, man. Right. So then that second year came back in sign industry. And then, then I decided, I want to do my own comic. So then I was like, what am I going to do, man? Then started toying with the idea of folklore characters. And I was like, the Midnight Robber. And then just kind of developed from there, So I knew that I wanted it to be not too much like a superhero book, but more like a horror kind of thing. Because I like horror, the horror genre. I like action too. So yeah, mix of horror and action type thing. So a lot of people when they see the Midnight Robber, they're like, is that Spawn? I'm like, no, it's not Spawn. It's the Midnight Robber.
If anybody wanted to make that comparison, your whole thing was you wanted them to be Trinidadian in nature. Like this is like we would trying to copy some American thing, or make an American Trinidadian version of an American comic or idea.
Correct.
You wanted it to be uniquely Trinidadian.
Right. So that if a Trinidad person that reads comics, they could say, oh, well, yeah, we have our own comic too. It's called Midnight Robber and it has characters that I can relate to. They can tell people about the characters because it's part of their culture.
Yeah.
Just like our Americans can talk about Spider-Man and Batman and so on, all these characters, because again, takes elements from their culture and into the comics.
Right.
Same thing.
The way Superman is an iconically American character.
There you go. Right.
The
Correct.
Midnight Robber is a Trinidadian character. Like, there is no other Midnight Robber anywhere else.
Well, there are a few others.
No, I mean, like,
right. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Like the Robber is a Trinidadian creation, as far as I know.
Yes.
I've never seen a Midnight Robber anywhere.
Yeah, because I've heard like stories that it's probably based on Mexican American.
Oh, the like the bandoleros.
Exactly.
I think
right. So I mean, but you're gonna find that all folklore is intertwined at some point now.
But it became this thing. Like, I saw Midnight Robber when I was playing Mass just like a week ago.
Right.
And I was like, and that's the interesting thing about Trinidad, because we in the African diaspora, and we had an Indian diaspora too, Trinidad, and then that mix of European. So we had a lot of these amalgams that became characters, but
bunch of stuff,
passed on through oral traditions, right?
And it just mutated from there.
And so the thing that I take pride in with this kind of stuff is that we help carry these traditions on, even though we have an evolved version of those characters. It actually is just a natural progression and a way to keep these names and of these characters sort of in the minds of people, right?
Yeah, because I was at a primary school maybe a month and a half ago, and I asked the children, if they knew what the characters were, and they were like, a lot of them, some of them they didn't know, but, a lot of them they knew. And that's why I do this, so that, again, it could live on, it'd be great if we could do like an animated series or something again, so it would evolve into different forms, and so it could reach more people, So
you had the original idea to do it as a comic strip.
As a comic strip for a weekly comic strip. Right? So I designed, so I think it was originally 24 pages. So I did thumbnails for 24 pages. So each page was kind of self-contained. So it would appear one week as a Sunday strip in a newspaper. So then I drew all the pages, no dialogue, and then I had to get words, and I don't remember. No, I think I had so Bruce, so one of my friends.
Yeah, Bruce Lai.
Right, Bruce Lai, right? I took it, because he used to read comics. I think he still reads comics, man.
Yeah.
You see, eat that stuff. It was crazy. And I knew he used to write too. So I asked him to write some of the stuff for me. And so I'm not sure if he didn't finish or he couldn't finish it, and then I came to you to finish the book. I wasn't too sure how it worked out.
I think Bruce worked on it first, and then I remember one day I was back from so you had come back to Trinidad,
right?
And then I left to go to Morgan. So this was around like 96, 97,
right?
And then one day I was laying in the room, probably hungover from a party before. And he had just handed me a bunch of pages, and he literally said, "I need words." And I was like, okay. and that really was like the first time we collaborated on it.
Right.
Yeah. So we did issue 1.
That was issue 1.
And then you drew issue 2. And then, but it was really cool because you had like the Twin Towers in there. In issue 2, there's an entire sequence that takes place in the hollows of the savannah. I think it was a Republic Bank. One of the banks.
It was a Royal Bank. Heist. Yeah. Because I wanted people, again, just like in the American comics, stuff happens in the real world. So people, man, Times Square, I know that place. So I wanted the same kind of effect in the Robocon, so people could relate to what's happening in the books,
and feel a sense of pride, because that's the thing. When I see stuff that takes place in the place that I am from, I feel like and well done stuff, not just like amateur stuff, because that was a big thing for you as well, right? Well, listen, I mean,
at the time, it was good for what it was. But now I look at the books, I'm like, oh boy, Wow, how did
Yeah,
I even
but
draw that?
you were bringing
Yeah,
what you learned at
yeah,
Cubans
yeah,
and, again, apprenticing on
yeah.
actual Marvel books and
Right.
stuff, and you
Yeah.
wanted to bring that to
Yeah, I
Trinidad.
wanted that kind of level, yes, of because we had comics before, man, but it just wasn't, I guess, at that level, you know. Because like so, Dew, who's like a political, well, was I think I'm not sure if he's still alive, man. He was a single panel cartoonist,
Yeah.
more political stuff in one of the dailies. This stuff, and I met him. Too. He's a really nice guy, man. And
Yeah.
then there's another dude that used to draw a comic strip called Sweet Bread. I don't ever remember his name. And his stuff, you know, both of those were influences in me
Yeah.
wanting to draw comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Because those were like uniquely
yeah,
Trinidadian,
those were
in the
Trinidadian books.
newspapers
Correct.
years and years and years.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Midnight Robber,
Mm-hmm.
how many issues have we done?
Five.
Five. We
Five
published
completed.
five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 has been in the works for the last 9 years, maybe.
And
Yeah.
just so people understand, like this is stuff that we have done sort of in our spare time,
Yeah.
in between like
Mm,
different career
yeah.
paths and turns and
Correct.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a labor of love. But the enduring legacy of it, because you do shows all the time, so
Yeah.
you do like little mini conventions and everything like
Correct.
that, right?
So the
Sign
fans,
books and stuff.
yeah, the fans, man, they're the best fans ever. They're still waiting for the books. They still really love the books. You know, people like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. And like even new, young. So when was last year? It was like last year sometime. And there's a young boy, he might be in like Form 2 or something, and he wants to draw comics, and he saw my book, and he's like, oh my goodness, what is this? And his mom
Yeah.
brought him, and they bought the first issue, and it's like, oh, crap, he couldn't believe what he was seeing, And I was like, yeah, I gave him my number, he took picture with me and stuff like that. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what I'm doing it for, man.
you have like a fan base here in Trinidad.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
it's crazy.
no, but
It's
it's not
unbelievable, man.
because you chose to
Yeah.
do pioneering work,
Yes.
and it is work that exists and people still love it and people refer to it all the time.
Yeah, people tell me that I inspire them. And like, God, dude,
And take the flowers, because that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember I was commenting on a Facebook post a few years ago
Mm,
with somebody's art, because there's like this new generation of kids
correct,
now, access to art tutorials, and you can watch
right,
videos and
yeah,
stuff. So we have kids now in Trinidad who are doing
yeah,
the level of work has risen, right?
yeah, for sure, man.
And so, so I saw something and I just made a comment like good work,
Mhm.
whatever. And then somebody replied, it's like, oh, Wendell Riley from Midnight Robber commented on this. And I was like, what? And I was like, because,
Nice.
again, because I'm in the States,
Yeah.
I don't do the shows and stuff with you.
Right.
But that's really nice to hear. And my thing is like, if one kid is inspired,
Oh yeah, man. That's worth it, man.
that's a
It's
job done, right?
worth it.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
And so I imagine that there are kids who, like the same way we were when we were younger, and we were like rapidly reading anything that we could put our hands on.
Mhm.
Like there are kids who read books and saw your art and they
Yeah.
were like, I want to draw like this someday,
Yeah.
And it felt and it feels more special because it's uniquely Trinidadian work.
Yeah. It. You will feel a sense of pride when something is, of your country. You know.
Yeah, and with people that look like
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
talk like you.
Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
gonna be, again, that sense of pride, man. It's always gonna be there
Yeah.
when you see that stuff.
Well, I mean, listen, Midnight Robber has always been your baby, and I kind of try
Yeah.
to help drive the story and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Right.
But I love just being able to be a part of that because I know what it means to so many people,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think it's really cool. But another project that we worked on that one
Which one is
is
this?
Mango Chiren.
Yeah.
And that one was like a collaboration from day one, right?
Yeah. That one I think is more your book, man.
Well,
That one is more your book.
so Michael Chiren is like just straight like comedy.
Yeah.
And it's just like wacky stuff. And you're right, like the stories for me are a way to like put my childhood through this insane lens,
Yeah.
right? But it was like, because we used to do some like crazy stuff when we were kids. I was talking to my cousin and saying how we would just get on our BMXs and we would just ride for hours and hours. And then we'd like go all over these the central parts of the country
Yeah.
and then come back and we would like see weird stuff and use our imaginations, but we were always like acting out movies and stuff
Yeah.
when we were in Mama's yard.
Yeah, that place was just everything,
Yeah,
basically.
because it had like trees everywhere and it had like places you could hide.
Garbage wood and metal and
Yeah, and there were like animals there, like chickens and trees and stuff. And we could climb on the roof of the house and we would walk around on the roof all the time.
we had access to power tools.
and weapons of all kinds because we used to play with the shuriken. We made our own blow guns.
Yeah.
So we used to make blow darts.
It's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I think we had a bow and one like a real hunting bow at one point.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah, I don't think we were allowed to play.
Yeah,
but we were allowed to play with the swords. The samurai sword.
Sounds a little 80s, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was we were just like, we would be left alone all day. Like, we just like, over the course of our summer vacation, like that's all we would do. We just go out and play. And then come back in and watch movies.
Yep.
And then go back out and read, and
yeah, so from Legos to ninja swords, man. Shurikens and ninja swords. Sure.
I am surprised that we all made it with like every limb intact and eyes and
we were smart back then, man.
Yeah. Well, these are professional injuries.
Nothing crazy. Exactly.
Yeah. And so Mango Chiren is like, it's almost like this, it's for kids, but not really for kids. Like I try to write it in a way where kids could appreciate it, but adults would get a lot of like jokes, like in jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a diverse cast.
Yeah.
Because that's important to us because
that's Trinidad now.
That's Trinidad, right? So there's like kids of African descent, there's kids of Chinese descent, and India. We have somebody from Tobago and all that.
Correct.
And we try to make it really authentically Trinidad, and we use like real places and things that we grew up on, like Joe Gum, and going to the shop to get stuff, and
comic books on clotheslines and that kind of stuff.
I remember the comic books on clotheslines. You could just like stare. So let me give some context. So across the street from our grandmother's house, there's a parlor. The parlor was a shop essentially, and so like she sold bread and food and like canned goods and dry goods, candy and stuff like that. And they would sell comics too, but they had these clotheslines like just strung across like behind the counter, and they would hang the comics by the spines. So we would just go look, and I remember like looking at there, they have like Micronauts comics and stuff just hanging there, and those were like, it was as cool to just stare at those comics hanging there as it was to go see a poster in front of Globe Cinema.
Yeah.
So that it's so wild to think of how like pervasive that stuff was in our childhood. Like it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you could go to drugstores and buy comics.
Yeah, that's where you buy comics in the old days.
Yeah. And they would sell novels, and so I bought most of my Stephen King novels that I still have today at the drugstore, at Dish Drugs.
Right.
But then they had booksellers like Mirage and stuff.
Yeah.
And they would be this like the bookstores downtown. They would have like just stacks of comics and magazines.
Yeah.
And they're like literal stacks and you could just go and just like go through them and pull out issues that you wanted and pay for those.
Yeah, the good old days, man.
Yeah. Trinidad was such an interesting but fun place to grow up. Yeah. So anyway, so Mango Chiren, that's the other project that we have, and we did like 8 or 9 issues.
Yes, 9. We're working on number 10 now.
Yeah. And then those characters are kind of funny because like the evil-ish one in the group, like the mischievous one. He is like the baby of the group.
Yeah.
I kind of channel my childhood because I was sort of the young one
Yeah, I'm
out
the
of
youngest in the
everybody
group,
else.
yeah.
They were all like all 5 or 6 years
Yeah.
younger than me, and I was a runt.
Yeah.
And so we kind of put some of those influences in there as well.
Yeah, definitely in there.
From better or worse.
Definitely in there.
So where can people find out more about these properties?
3qconline.com, I think is
That's it.
is
That's
the
it. And don't worry, we'll
address.
put the link to
Yeah.
the website in the show notes so you could check out some
Yeah.
of our stuff. I don't know if we have the US store up and running yet.
Actually, yeah, if you we got Gumroad. You could actually purchase
Okay, cool.
electronic copies on Gumroad.
Oh, sweet. And
Yeah.
if not, you can always reach out to me if you're
Yeah,
in the US.
correct, yeah.
And reach out to Chris and
Yeah.
Trinidad because you get books to people all the time.
Mhm,
You do
correct.
shows all the time. You do
Yeah,
sign-ins and
yeah, I
appearances
visit
and stuff.
schools and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a good place to wrap. I mean, is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. I'm good. I'm good. I mean, we could talk. We could talk for hours. Yeah, we could talk
we haven't
for
even
hours.
talked about like toys and
That's right. We didn't talk about
or
TV shows. Yeah.
So actually, I do want to talk a little bit about TV shows. 'Cause TV was like a big influence for us.
Right. Yeah.
We had like this little, was it black and white?
Yeah, it was black and white first.
It was like 13-inch.
Well, no. We had a color TV, but I think when we were younger, my grandma, Mama, she had black and white.
Mama had a black and white.
Yeah, until they upgraded.
Yeah.
I think our Tragic was color.
Right.
Yeah.
And back then we had one TV station.
Yeah.
It was TTT,
Mhm.
Trinidad and Tobago Television. Did not have access to cable.
Correct.
And TTT would go offline around midnight.
Yeah, at 12 p.m. 12 a.m., sorry.
12 a.m. And then it would come back online around 9 with Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, yeah.
So you would get Sesame Street in the morning.
And then maybe, I think like a soap opera or something,
Yeah,
place or something.
News, they would have a newscast, TTT News,
No.
around noon.
They had Dateline at 11 to 12.
Okay.
And I think they signed off.
Right, they would sign off during the day.
Yeah.
So it would be like between like noon and 2 p.m. or something like that. You have to go outside of the...
Until 4? Yeah, you
Okay.
get the test pattern, the colored bars that you
Right.
you could watch that all day if you want.
Yeah. And then they would come back on
At 4.
at 4 with Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. And then at 5, depending on the day, you get like a half an hour animated or a locally produced.
You might get like Danger
something.
Mouse.
Yeah.
There was also, we got some live action stuff like this Hobo.
Yeah, Star Blazers or Battle of the Planet.
Starfleet.
Yeah.
Terrorhawks.
Yeah. There you go, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Einstein.
Yeah. So we got like puppets. So it's like
so
sci-fi puppets.
Terry Anderson stuff, I think.
And those were British?
No, the British ones were like Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, we had Thunderbirds too.
Right, so yeah. Man, we had all stuff because again, some of the stuff came from UK, some was US,
and some Canadian to Littlest Hobo.
That's right.
Yeah, and then there was like Wind in the Willows.
Right, in the Willows. Yeah. Well,
and then we would get like a variety show, a local variety show, like Santa Bahar.
So that would be the Saturday evening program.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday evening would be Santa Bahar from 6 to 7.
Yeah.
But before that, we used to get something called That's Hollywood.
Oh, That's Hollywood was my jam.
Right, which used to show about movie effects and that kind of stuff.
Yes. So that was like the first time I really started getting into like the art of movie making.
Okay, and on that note, Fangoria was another publication that that was a big influence in my work.
Yeah.
Because that had all the horror stuff in there, and you'd see stuff that we wouldn't even get to see, but I could read about and
see, and so then guys like Savini and the team, they became legends for us.
Right. Yeah.
And then we had Starlog magazine,
Starlog,
sci-fi magazine.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is pre-internet. So
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of
Yeah, we had to
movies.
read books.
You would have to read these, and we would read them. I don't know about you, but I would read and reread these articles.
No.
Look at the pictures.
I would just look at the pictures. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The words would eventually make, I was like, oh, that's what
this
that
says
is.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to TV, so then we
Mhm.
also had stuff like Play of the Month, which was like they would televise live play. Well, not live. They would record plays,
Yeah.
local
Correct.
plays, and then
Yeah.
show that on TV.
Because we had Best Village as well.
Best Village,
Scouting for Talent was another big thing.
Scouting for Talent. Yeah, man. Yeah, we support Scouting for Talent. But then there was a children's variety show called Ricky Tiki.
Right.
Uncle Ian.
We also had 12 and Under on a Friday with
12 and Under. It was a competition show.
Auntie something.
Auntie Hazel.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was just performances.
Okay, like just
a variety show, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a competition show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then we would get, of course, there would be TTT News, so we'd have a newscast every night. And then they would show like prime time stuff.
Right, yeah.
So 18.
MacGyver. Fall Guy. was BJ and the Bear.
Yeah. Dukes of Hazzard, a little bit of Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Chips
was big for us.
Emergency was another one, but that was 70s.
Yeah. That was a little before my time.
What's that? Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. But that I actually don't know when that used to show, but I might have been like like a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah,
or something.
and then like Star Trek too. We got a lot of sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know who like it was in charge of programming for Trinidad.
Yeah, we got some really
good stuff.
Because we used to get Doctor Who as well, man.
Yeah. We used to get Doctor Who.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah. But we didn't get stuff like G.I. Joe and Transformers. We would have to rent tapes from the video club and like binge watch it. So that was a treat. Getting G.I. Joe episodes.
Yep.
I don't know if it was the same for Thundercats. I think we got Thundercats.
I think Thundercats was on. That was probably later on when we got TV6. Possibly.
Yeah. So then we eventually got a second channel, and then around the like early 90s, we started getting access to cable. There were people who had big satellite dishes.
Yeah.
But then everybody now has cable in Trinidad. And so, but we like would have to seek out that stuff. But we also had like very curated things, which meant that we watched a wide variety of stuff because this is the only thing on TV.
Yeah, correct.
And then on Sundays, they would have a Bollywood film.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal, right? And like, even like our grandmother, she would watch it even though she was Chinese. And
she liked the singing, I think.
Yeah, and she's like, it's like the closest thing to Chinese culture that I have. So I'll watch it. And I remember like sitting with her and reading the subtitles, the English subtitles, stuff like that. And then Auntie Ruby and Mama, every day they had their soap operas. Santa Barbara,
Young and the Restless.
Yeah,
whatever it was, they would watch it.
Yeah. And then we also had like prime time soaps like Dallas, Dynasty,
Nuts Landing,
LA Law.
Yeah.
So good stuff. So if anybody is wondering, if you meet a Trinidadian and they seem like they have this fount of knowledge about pop culture from all over the world, this is why. This is the environment that we grew up in. And this is why I think ultimately, at least Chris and I were destined to take the paths that we took and have the careers that we have, because I feel lucky that we had all of that like cool stuff.
Of course, man. You're insane. That was the best stuff ever, man.
Yeah. It was rad.
Best stuff ever, man.
Yeah.
Because like, again, you could go, we could listen to John Williams and then listen to AC/DC.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Beethoven. Iron Maiden.
Yep. The Beatles and then Devo.
Exactly. Yeah. We had everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And that's the thing, that because there was no like association with stuff. Like you could live in Trinidad and listen to country music and love country music. Like my mom was like a huge Julio Iglesias fan, and she'd like blast her stuff, and then like Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
So like you liked what you liked, and you were allowed to like what you liked.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think that helps in having a different kind of mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so odd that we have so much more now and people know so much less.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so strange, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
that seems like a downer of a note, so let's end it.
Yeah.
But hey, Chris, this was awesome, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad we got to do this in person.
Yeah. It's cool.
Thank you all for listening and allowing us to share
Yeah.
this
Thanks for listening, guys.
episodes. Yeah, and we'll certainly have you on again on a future episode.
Yeah.
Again, I'll put the link to the Three Quarter Comics website in the show notes. And as we say in Trinidad, we will talk later. Freshwater Yankee was produced by Jesse Stevenson Riley. Our contributing producers are David McMillan and Lauren Leon McMillan. Music was provided by Peter Sandy of Home Base Productions, and I am your host, Wendell Riley.